Breaking news this afternoon, the suspect in a Mason City shooting Monday night has been arrested. We'll have the latest information we're learning at this hour.
And the snow is certainly falling here in downtown Rochester and across all of southern Minnesota and parts of north Iowa. I'll have an update on the road conditions and also look at the latest snowfall reports coming up.
Plus, a visitation is taking place right now for the 4 children who didn't make it out of a Mason City house fire. We're hearing more from the father of the boys as the family continues to grieve the unimaginable loss. KIMT News 3 First at 4 starts right now.
KIMT News 3, coverage you can count on. This is KIMT News 3's First at 4.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us for KIMT News 3 First at 4. I'm Jessica Bringy. Breaking news out of Mason City this afternoon. A man is now in custody in connection to a Monday night shooting. This man, 24-year-old Stephen Tidemanson of Mason City, was arrested after being found in the 300 block of First Street Southwest around 1:50 this afternoon. A gun was also recovered. Mason City police say a fight was reported in the 300 block of 3rd Street Northwest at 7:55 yesterday evening. When officers arrived on scene, they found a gunshot victim. That man is currently hospitalized, but the extent of his injuries have not been released. If you have more information for investigators, you're asked to call the number listed right there on your screen. Stay with KIMT News 3 on air and online for the latest on this developing story. It has been a cold and snowy one today. KIMT Storm Team 3 Chief Meteorologist Aaron White is joining us live outside of our studio. Aaron, how is it out there?
Hey there, Jess. I will say we still got the snow falling, of course, here in Rochester. Starting to get a little bit colder as temperatures have been dropping through the day. We started this morning in the 30s. Now we're down into the 20s, and the wind is starting to pick up just a little bit more as we're doing this live shot. And the wind is going to be picking up more as we get into tonight and for tomorrow. So blowing and drifting snow earlier today wasn't a concern, but now it is going to be a concern as we get into the evening and the overnight hours once that wind really starts to pick up. Brought the anemometer out here right now. Winds not too bad. We're getting 5-10 mile per hour winds, a few gusts up to near 15 at the moment. Just a couple moments ago we had a pretty good gust up to 15 miles per hour. So right now, things are okay in terms of the wind, but like I mentioned, the wind is going to pick up later on tonight after the snow ends. That's going to be happening right about 4 or 5 o'clock this evening, actually more 5, 6 o'clock this evening. We're going to see that snow tapering off from west to east, and then blowing and drifting snow is then a concern. So road conditions are going to be on the poor side through the overnight hours into your Wednesday before things gradually improve. And we are talking about temperatures back above freezing. So the snow you see here, well, it's going to be melting by Friday. And I'll have a full update on the snowfall reports and a full look at the forecast coming up.
The whole of North Iowa has been mourning the loss of 4 boys who were killed on November 16th in a Mason City house fire. Today is the visitation at Fullerton Funeral Home. It's taking place right now and goes until 7 p.m. The family does say it is open to the community. Those gathering together are remembering the lives of John Michael McLuer, age 12, Odin Thor, age 10, Draco Ragnar, age 6, and Phoenix Moon, age 3. KIMT News 3 had the exclusive opportunity to speak with John Michael McLuer ahead of the visitation. He's the father of those boys. He says they're just trying to make it through this week.
We got to get through to Thursday, you know, because Wednesday is the interning and Tuesday is the visitation, and we just got to make it to Thursday, and then it's where do we go from here?
We'll share more of our interview with the family in just a bit, but first we want to let you know how you can help support the McLuers at this extremely difficult time. A Life Tributes page has been made on the Fullerton Family of Funeral Homes website for anyone wanting to share memories of the McLuer children. You're also able to send flowers and gifts. Other expressions of sympathy can be made out to Angela McLuer in care of North Iowa Community Credit Union. That address is 640 South Federal, Mason City, Iowa. And as we just mentioned, KIMT News 3 was able to speak with the grief-stricken parents of the children. John Michael McLuer, who was injured trying to rescue his young boys from the fire. And by his side during the conversation was his wife, Angela. During the heart-wrenching interview, McLuer relived the night of the fire, saying he yelled at the boys to get into Odin's room, where he opened up a window and ripped the screen off to get the boys out of the home. But then McLuer says he believes he was blown out of that window. By the time he tried to get back inside, McLuer says police pulled him into an ambulance. As he looks back and continues to try and process the fatal fire, McLuer says he was the one who should have been trapped, not his 4 boys, going on to say parents aren't supposed to bury their kids.
You take for granted every day of what you do every day around the house, whatever, and all that, and then the next minute, bang, it's done. Life changes. We have to move on from this, but first we have to stop and get our priorities straight and deal with the grief that we have to deal with, and then we got to make sure that we move on for them. We can't sit on our butts and be stagnant, because then we're not going to honor them at all.
A memorial service is planned for tomorrow at 2:30 in the afternoon at the Lincoln School Gymnasium. That's according to the Fullerton family of funeral homes. We'll hear more from the father coming up at 5 and share what he's asking of community members today. And we're also continuing to cover how the entire community is showing support. The school district has been rallying around the community and the family by providing resources such as counseling services, and vigils have been held in memory of the children. And of course, more than $65,000 has already been raised, exceeding that $50,000 goal on the McLuer GoFundMe page. Those funds in part will help with expenses related to laying the children to rest. With all of this snow, it's a good idea to make sure your tires are winter weather ready. A service advisor at Joe's Auto and Tire says you shouldn't do the old penny trick to see if you have enough tread on your tires. Instead, you should stick the head of a quarter in the voided area of the tread. If you can see the full forehead of George Washington, that's an indicator you probably should get new tires. Winter tires are great if you don't mind the hassle of switching them out when temps climb to 45 degrees or above. That's when service techs say they'll wear out faster. If you don't want to have to deal with the switch, you can grab some all-season tires. The grip won't be as good as the winter tires, but you won't have to worry about switching them out when it starts to get warmer. Still to come, MnDOT plows are putting in the work as heavy snow falls across our area. KIMT News 3's Alec Oz joins us live with more on the work they're doing to keep drivers safe. Plus,
President Biden is calling on Congress to head off a national rail strike. I'm Skyler Henry on Capitol Hill with lawmakers' stance and the deal that's now off track.
KIMT News 3, first at 4, the area's most watched afternoon news. Your local news with KIMT News 3's Jessica Bringy. Tracking storms with Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sarah Knox. This is KIMT News 3, more local news that is happening right now. We are coverage you can count on.